The Mississippi Link is an African-American female-owned newspaper with a trusted voice that is highly respected throughout the city, state, and nation. Our motto, keepers of the knowledge for people who speak the truth, since 1993. Link significantly influences the thoughts, attitudes, and buying decisions of its readers. Call us at 601-368-8481 for your advertising needs. If you would like to receive a newspaper in the mail each week, our annual subscription is only $52 per year. That is only $1 per week for you to stay informed regarding many stories that you can only get in the Mississippi Link. Sign up today at themississippilink.com and click on Home Delivery.
Good afternoon. How you doing? My name is Dennis Ayers, and once again, this is Health and Habits podcast. And you know, we have started this week out with our show yesterday was our returning citizens or people that have been released from prison, and we talked about the issue of getting freed and health care. And they're having a hard time because once if they are being treated for certain chronic diseases while in prison, by law they have to treat those inmates. But once they're freed, what do you do? And that is one of those issues that we are confronting today. And part of that is the recidivism rate, lack of jobs, or a lack of a job that that will help pay the bills, or will pay the bills, for one. For two, training, being educated and trained to have a job that will allow you to pay the bills. For three, we're looking at a population that may be affected by mental health and drug addiction, or some of those things that's confronted by these individuals once they're released from prison. Now, I did, there's an interesting article that I read that was put out by the U.S. Bureau of Justice Statistics that says that over 67% of all state prisoners will be rearrested for crimes, for new crimes, within 3 years. And over 76% will be arrested within 5 years. Now, reducing recidivism, which is a huge component to society's woes, because a lot of times what you're having is these offenders reoffend once they've been released, and that is an issue. So we have to address that. It is a quality of life issue, which boils down to a quality of health for our seniors, for those that are being victimized by these individuals. Not all these individuals are doing that, but we have to take a look at what the statistics are saying. Reducing recidivism not only protects society at large, but also improves the life of quality for the individual or the ex-offender. However, ex-offenders will face a tremendous difficulty in obtaining employment post-release, such as disadvantaged situations may attribute to for multiple reasons. For one, the number one reason is most offenders simply lack the necessary job skills for a specific position. Okay, and second is many employers are reluctant to hire people due to their stigma, due to previous criminal record. I've talked to quite a few people that have been released, and I think one of the biggest challenges when they're filling out a job application is do they mark that box? Have you been incarcerated, or are you an ex-felon? Employers do check. For the most part, employers do check. And I would venture to say on the air of honesty, because what that does, that puts you in a position to have that employer take a second look. Because a lot of times employers already have a good idea on if you have had issues in the past. They just want, and a lot of employers want to give that second chance. So, I've hired people before, and you want the best person for the job because you want them to maintain that job. I'm not saying that someone who has been released from prison is a bad employee. That's not what I'm saying at all. But you just simply may not lack the skills to perform that job. And that goes back to the number one question, that you simply lack those skills for that specific job. Here's what I do know. In most cases, any given prison system will have the opportunity for you to better yourself, to either get a GED or get some type of job training or some type of skill. I know here in the state of Mississippi, they just introduced a program, a welding program, that will allow those people, once they've been released, to go out into the job market and get a job. Well, now they possess those skills to do that. But there are other things. Skills are one thing, but you have to take a look at where you are educationally. If you have gone to prison and you are at and you read maybe at a 4th or 5th grade level because of you did not attend school, or you did attend school, just not applied yourself, there are things that I think that you can do while you are incarcerated. Incarceration does not mean that life stops. So there are some things that you should take advantage of while you are incarcerated. And I think that those things are prudent, simply because there is life. Over 85% of anyone who gets incarcerated will be free. So that's something that we want to take a look at, and we want to hear from you. Please give us a call at 800-492-5186. That number is 1-800-492-5186. Give us a call. Let's talk for the next 30 minutes or so. We also can be viewed on We Believe Digital TV. WeBelieveDigital.com, rather. Facebook, Roku, and YouTube. Once again, my name is Dennis Ayers, and I am the owner of Ayers Insurance Group, located in Clinton, Mississippi. You can reach me through Facebook, Dennis Ayers Senior Health Advisor, or you can reach me at Dennis at my web page at dennisayers.org. Shoot me a message. Let's sit and talk. We can do quite a bit. We want to make sure that anyone that wants any type of insurance, health, especially health insurance, because that's the topic, life insurance, dental, vision, give me a call. My services are at zero cost to you. I don't charge anything. I'm paid by the insurance company. And so what we want to do is have that conversation. If you are retiring and ready to go on Medicare, you really need to call, simply because there are a lot of questions that you may not be able to answer. or you may not be able to find the answer to, give me a call. Let's just have that conversation. My number is 601-209-9853. That's Ayers Insurance Group at 601-209-9853, or you can simply send me a text. Okay, so let's move on to this. And this and the what I'm reading from is the Bureau of Justice Statistics that's showing this. I don't make this stuff up, but there is another component to this that we're going to go over a little later on, and that's reducing recidivism through public health. And there was an interesting study out in California that they did a study on this and found some interesting results. And we're going to talk about those in a little bit. But what we want to do is just continue right here with the U.S. Census statistics. Okay. The researchers found that employment is associated with reduced recidivism. So if you got a job, it's going to help. Okay. The strongest association for those who were sentenced to property and economic offenses were at least strong. That were the strongest, so they would not reoffend. So, finding that job that help you pay your bills and take care of your family is a strong, extremely strong deterrent from going back to jail. Because now what's happened is you have become a productive member of society, and those individuals that were involved in violent crime, or those that were involved in sex trafficking crimes, those were the least. Those were the ones that had the highest level of reentry into the justice system. So, and I think simply because a lot of times different types of programming may be needed before those individuals may be released or before they can go and become productive members of society. I'm not saying that can't be done, but I'm simply saying it just may be another path for them. Now, this study that we're going to talk about was done at UCLA School of Nursing. Go Bruins! That's my old stomping grounds. And it was they needed peer coaching. And so what happened, they hired and were able to find ex-felons to help with this program. And it's really interesting to find out what they found out, simply because it's not that these guys had any magic words or anything, but they simply could relate. They knew what an offender was going through once he simply got back out into the free world. So there are some things that they put in place. There are some things that were addressed. This was not one-on-one peering, but it was a team effort to help reduce recidivism in the LA South Central area, and it worked. So. And the purpose of it was to find out what combination of a sentence is more effective during reducing drug abuse and recidivism for newly released inmates. So, and because that's a problem. It's a great economic problem and a social problem. And it's a significant problem. At some point, we as a community, we're going to have to deal with this. Because like I said, over 85% of all those that are going to be incarcerated will be released at some time. Yesterday, we talked about our aging prison population, and those that are being released that are aging, that are released with chronic conditions. Those are issues that we don't think about as a society, but those are issues that are adding to, and we should be thinking about those things. So give us a call at 1-800-492-5186. That's 1-800-492-5186. Or you can reach out to us at webelievedigital.com, Facebook, Roku TV, and also YouTube. You can view this at any time. You can go to my Facebook page, Dennis Ayers, Senior Healthcare Advisor. You can go to my web page at dennisayers.org. And let's figure this thing out. Okay, we're going to be back. We're going to take a short message here in about 30 seconds. But what we want to do when we get back is we're going to talk a little bit more about the research, what the research found, and how it's helped reduce recidivism in Los Angeles, California. Okay, so don't go away. We're going to go over some more information. Once again, you can reach us at 800-492-5186. That's 1-800-492-5186. We'll be right back.
SocratesGarrettENT.com is a diversified firm specializing in recycled aggregates and crushed concrete. SocratesGarrettENT.com's recycled materials provide the construction industry with significant economic and environmental benefits by recycling clean concrete rubble into M.DOT grade rock materials. Recycled aggregates and crushed concrete can be applied to driveways, road construction, bank protection, parking lots, general bulk fills, and more. For more information, please call 601-896-0084 or visit us online at SocratesGarrettENT.com.
Advertise on WeBelieve.global, a brand new digital media platform. Share your brand with our audience on our many global live stream TV broadcasts and over the radio. For more info, visit WeBelieve.global or call 800-492-5186, option 1.
Okay. Thank you once again for joining in. My name is Dennis Ayers, and I am the owner of Ayers Insurance Group and the host of Health and Habits. We do We Believe Digital podcast. So, and what we're talking about is reducing recidivism through public health. And a high rate of recidivism, I would argue to say, is an issue of public health. Because when you have this, the study indicated, like I said once before, over 75% of those that are out, that are inmates that have been released, will reoffend within 5 years. And that is a revolving door. And in California, over $10 billion per year was spent on prisons. And that's what that study showed, over $10 billion. And a lot of that was those that have been released have been re-entered into the system again because of drugs or reoffending because of drug use or mental health issues. So, and it is a major issue. And one of the reasons why is a lot of times prisoners often lose family and their support networks while they are in prison. Who loves you more than your mama? But what happens if your mama goes home to be with the Lord while you're in prison, and once you're released, and there are no other support and family members? What do you do then? So these are some of the things that this study brought up. So for this cause, one of the most difficult challenges convicts face when they are released are because they create insurmountable odds against them to successfully re-enter back into the community. Yeah, you may go to a halfway house, but at some point you may have to leave there. What have you done, and what does that support system look like if you have to go and find a place to live? Living in a tent on the street is an option, but who wants to do that? We right our ships and do what's right now because we don't want to be judged by our past. And if we live that mantra and we want to do what's right, then we want to better ourselves and put ourselves in a position to where we can now have quality of life and support a family. That's the goal. So to access health care and counseling gives them the skills they need, the improvement for self-esteem, the networking, and social support. See, so if you come out and those are issues, there are programs out there. And if you give me a call, if you text me at 601-209-9853, that is my company phone number. Either call me or text me. We'll help you find those resources. There's no way you should feel like you're being left out here alone. There are churches that'll help. They have a wonderful Department of Recidivism here in Hinds County, and that program is in place. So there's plenty of places that you can go, except back to your old stomping grounds and do what you used to do, because we know what got you in prison, but it's not what got you there what's going to keep you out. So you can move forward from this thing. This is not a death sentence. So 5 years ago, this researcher got a $3.2 million grant. And she embarked on her work with 600 parolees and probationers. Okay. And so what they found out, there were 3 different groups who did the research. One was a bunch of doctors, social workers, nurses, and community workers. The other group was the nurses, social workers. That's the second group. And the third group was simply the nurses along with ex-offenders who were hired as and trained as assistant researchers for this program. And they got the most results. And that's interesting, because that program that was instituted out there can be transferred here. It can be transferred anywhere in the nation. But there was a team that comprised of healthcare workers and comprised of ex-offenders that were able to reach and actually reduce recidivism in Los Angeles, California. So what they found out, there was a lot of individuals with severe health issues. One of which why they had to partner with the healthcare system in California, because those things tend to have to be addressed a lot of times first. So, after a health assessment, most of the parolees and probationers, ranging in between the ages of 18 to 60, they're vaccinated and checked for HIV, and giving instructed in health care, including the dangers of injectable drug use and also unprotected sex. And they were coached by peers. And these were the former inmates hired and trained to be to be intervention team specialists, and some peer coaches had served lengthy sentences. So these are guys that may have been in prison for 10, 12 years, 15 years, and they came out wanting to make a difference. And they found this program, and this program has changed their lives. And these guys now are out being trained to change the lives of those that are recently released. Well over 100 years, and these guys were length of sentences combined well over 100 years, but they had turned their lives around to become successful. Because of their experiences of having been incarcerated themselves, they have an ear for listening. The ex-cons added, we were fabulous to work with. And what we find is the subject of the study, the average grade that these guys made it to was the 11th grade. Okay, just short of a high school diploma. 46% were African American or black. 33% were Latino. 15% were white, and over 6% were other ethnicities, and they were randomly divided into different groups. And so what we do know is getting out of prison. In a lot of cases, it's not easy once you get out. I don't think that anyone should tell you it's going to be gravy when you get out, because it may not be. But the question is, what do you do once you are out? There are resources out there to help you. I don't think that anyone wants to see anyone go back and reoffend, to go back to prison, because they simply have a drug issue and they don't know how to stop. They've crossed that line and they can't stop. No matter what they want, they may want help to stop, but they have to find it. And what I'm telling you is help is out there. Okay, a combination of case management by nurses and peer coaching by former inmates proved to be the most effective treatment model. Members of the first group showed, and that's the one with the doctors and nurses and social workers, showed a higher likelihood of completing drug treatment. And that was a significant decrease in their drug use. The primary findings from follow-up surveys taken 6 months to a year afterwards suggest, after the subjects joined the treatment program, found that those in the first group had used less marijuana, meth, and cocaine. Importantly, their recidivism rate was lower. So there still may have been some issues. Even if you had a job, there still may be some things that they were working on, but the recidivism rate was lower. And that's an important statement right there. Okay, it might not be surprising to learn that the group receiving the most help fared the best, but the study demonstrated something more broadly meaningful. As an alternative to the 3-strike law, which we talked about yesterday, or other sentencing systems that lock away inmates for long periods of time, but it also overcrowding prisons. Repeat offending can be reduced by providing health care, instructions, case management, and peer coaching. Moreover, the more such assistance former inmates receive, the less likely they are to return to custody. All of which rebukes the once popular notion that criminals are beyond help and that society could only be protected from them by locking them away. What we have to understand, no matter what happens, and we've been here in the last 3 years, we've been seeing some horrific crimes, and let's face it, you do something like that, you should be locked up. But it does not mean a death warrant. What are you going to do once you got that time? What are you going to do? At some point, you may be getting out. At some point, we have to make those decisions to walk in a better quality of life. And I'm telling you that it can be done. It can be done. It's all on how we want to plug into society, what we want to do, how we want our lives to, what we want our lives to be like in the future. Do we want families? Do we want to have kids? Do we want to be married? Those are questions I think everyone has in their mind, or most people anyway. And are you capable of being a good father? I think that a lot of the quality of life issues around here in Jackson are simply in part because of the lack of a father in the home. Men are absent, and if we want to do better, we're going to have to, as Lee Vance used to say before he went home to be with the Lord, dads, get a hold of your sons. Simply because we are responsible. We who are men, responsible men, it costs us nothing to say a word of encouragement to these younger men without sounding like we're fussing, to share that message with them. Brothers need to talk to brothers. At the end of the day, that's the bottom line. We have the ability. There's enough of us around here that's successful to where we can say some kind words. A kind word is like a golden apple set around fine silver. Okay, a fine word is well placed. My name is Dennis Ayers. I want to thank y'all once again. You can check us out at WeBelieveDigital.com, Facebook, Roku TV, and YouTube. Once again, my name is Dennis Ayers. If you want a healthier outcome, then you have to change those habits. And thank you once again. And goodbye, and God bless each and every one of you.